Hello. It's been 5 days since the last video. I just was doing other stuff, I guess, and wasn't recording. Actually, I will say this now. I have an idea for a new YouTube channel, which will be for programming related content. It would be like production style videos, but very like short. Not like YouTube Shorts. Like it'd be like more like, I don't know, maybe 3-minute videos, roughly around, varying sometimes. Yeah, I did a recording of a video idea I had for that channel, so if that goes well, I'll post it. Very cryptic, very mysterious, but we'll see if that goes anywhere. If not, then I'll just post that video to my main channel, I guess, the KojoBailey channel. But otherwise, I'll have a third channel up soon. Soon, TM, with stuff like that. Yeah. Anyway, so it's also been a while since I've done a video like this where I've read an article. So to give a bit of context, I was looking at the Odin, the Odin project, right? Because I luckily forgot Odin was a language, and it looks very cool. Yeah, I recently saw it again because I was doing a different video idea. This is so annoying. Yep. Jesus Christ. Okay, that's not it. Odin. I'm wrong. I'm so wrong. Okay, so this is Odin Lang. That's different. Let me put it there. Sorry. I was looking at this. That's right. So one of my friends sent me this. It's called the Odin Project, and it basically teaches you web development. So like you got advanced HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Node.js, React, databases, Ruby on Rails, and Ruby. So I want to follow this at some point. I guess after my exams, I think I'll do like databases or Ruby. I already like kind of know React and all this stuff, but like really it's like the database stuff, SQL, Ruby, and Rails that I'd be really interested in. So yeah, but they have a community thing which has a blog. And the blog caught my eye because there's some very interesting topics here, like pursuing best practices. Sorry. Pursuing best practices is a bad practice when you're new. I'm going to read this one in this video. I think that's a very lucrative title and something that I've wondered about myself in the past. Also, it is fairly popular. 215 reactions. I'm not actually familiar with just how popular dev.to is right now. I've kind of ignored it because like a lot of it is just AI slop. I mean, like literally just like look at how much of this is just AI. I think all of it might be literally AI. Is this AI? Okay, this might be the first okay, it's actually this was very short. I don't know, man. Like, I want there to be a cool, like social media for programmers, and I guess dev.to is that, but I don't know. I think to really get into it, I first need to have people I'm following. So hey, hopefully the Odin project is something interesting. But anyway, what's interesting is that despite this being the Odin project, which aims to teach web development, a lot of these are actually very general, right? Like this one, again, stood out to me. This one, why learning to code is so damn hard. I definitely want to give that a read. Memorization and learning to code, also very interesting. Portfolio, practice jobs, learning code, reading comprehension sounds very interesting. Think of mindsets. Someone else's success is not your failure. So yeah, like very interesting titles. I definitely want to read more. Are these in chronological order? They must be. Just looks like they've been popping off with their posts more recently. So I'm gonna log in actually. Real quick. Nice. That took me out of the thing. I love it when they do that. Okay. Refresh. So yeah, I'll give this a read, and then if I find anything interesting, I'll put those in Obsidian. Also, I'm using this extension called Super Simple Highlighter, so I can just highlight something, right click, and then do like red like that, and cool, now it's red. I can't add comments, but I don't know. I like. Oh wait, I can? No, that's quotation. That's different. Like, it'd be good to be able to do like comments on the page, so I can like take notes as I read, so like I don't forget things, right? Yeah, maybe I should do that. Let me ask Claude, are there any good Chrome extensions that allow me to highlight and take notes on any web page? Because the one I have has highlighting, but that's not really enough. Web highlights. 4.83 stars. Okay, let's have a look. Did I click it or not? Yes, open link. Alright, this is the one apparently. So I'll remove this one. So okay. So let's say I highlight this. I have this. Okay. Let's say I make it yellow. And then I can make a note. Perfect. Yeah, perfect. Okay, great. So, let's just read, right? Is that text big enough? That should do. Okay. Pursuing best practices. I'm very nasally. I mean, I'm always nasally, but it makes it quite hard to read. Pursuing best practices is a bad practice when you're new. Holy capitalization. I need to do this right, even though I don't know what right is. What if I'm making mistakes that become habits? If I'm not doing it right, does this mean I don't have what it takes to be good at this? Yeah. Now this is a question that I ask very often when I'm learning something new, which is, you know, I want to avoid making bad habits that will be difficult to unlearn later, and so I do try to like kind of have things be perfect from the get-go, and like it makes the learning process slower, and it can also kill motivation if like, because, you know, again, like you're not making that much progress necessarily, so like it can be problematic, but it can also be very useful if you're able to maintain your motivation, I'd argue. But we'll see where this article goes with it. Yeah, so like with this notes yellow, click on that. This is something I often worry about when learning something new, since I want to avoid developing bad habits that would be hard to unlearn later on. Throughout my learning, I said this to myself for pretty much every line of code I wrote. I needed to see the whole correct solution in my head before I could start typing. I may not have known what correct was, but I told myself I'd know it if it happened to pop into my brain. And I'd sit there pondering, typing, deleting, reading, and rereading, and after all that, I still couldn't conjure up the correct code in my brain. Reading what? Like, it's the code, right? I wish I had the words to wipe away these thoughts. I don't. I don't believe you'll get the last line of this feeling cured. The thoughts will come and go. The thoughts will come and go. While I don't have a fix, I can offer some thoughts about why this happens, what it's doing to our learning, and how we can think about things a little differently. So they don't have a fix. That's interesting. For interesting things that I have no comments on, I'll put them in pink. Pink for interesting. I struggled with math as a kid. When I was in elementary school, we'd take turns going up to the board to solve multiplication problems. 5 times 3, 3 times 7, 8 times 2. Boy, there's no way. Ugh. Okay, we did ask. I remember a day where I went up and got it wrong. I knew everyone was looking. I wrote a number, erased it, tried again. I just didn't get it. I could hear my classmates chuckling. My teacher asked me to go back to my seat. Jeez. And later having to show my parents how many problems I got wrong on my homework didn't help. All that messed me up. I learned some math, but it felt like the bigger lesson was, don't even try unless you know the answer. Yeah, that's unfortunate, I would say. What the hell? This is so cold. My teacher asked me to go back to my seat. I remember when I was a very, very fond memory. When I was in year 2, I believe, I had trouble telling the time on an analog clock, whereas my classmates got it pretty quickly. I don't know why I struggled so much with it, but you know what my teacher did was she literally, while everyone else was like working on like these exercises with like clock stuff, she specifically took me aside and then helped me 101, and like we went through the clock together. She had like a physical clock, like thingy, like a model one, like, you know, like for educational purposes. And like she'd go, okay, like you do this, you do this, right? And like, what's that say? And then because she did that, I was able to get it perfectly, you know, to the point where now I can tell the time on an analog clock perfectly fine. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know why I struggled with it in the first place, because I was able to pick it up pretty easily once she explained it to me. But like, it's just that like, if she hadn't have done that, how screwed would I have been, or what I had been for like telling the time, you know, and like yeah, but like even just like other things that I tried learning back in school, you know, like I am very grateful that I went to the school I did growing up, for those first, well, I left at year 4, I think, so the first like 6 years or so of my school. That was really good. I can't claim this is the case for everyone. I think it's the case for a lot of people. But in my experience, I couldn't start something until I knew I was right. Being wrong had consequences. Laughing classmates, disappointed teachers, angry parents. I was trying to protect myself. Bro, why are teachers disappointed in you? I mean, I guess like you didn't learn, right? But like, really, they should be disappointed in themselves. Because like, they're the teacher. You are the student. Protect myself, yeah. Okay. I'll make a note here. Not like about myself, but wait. How did I do that just now? I press this. Oh, you just press it. Expert mode. What? What's expert mode? Is it paid? What's going on? So a bit of a side quest here. Ultimate feature. Yeah, okay, cost money. That's fine. So there is a default color. Okay. So let me change this to my default color then. Okay. Here. Yep, so people often stop themselves from, often stop themselves from trying new things and stepping outside their comfort zones, or zone, out of fear of being hurt, either literally, being emotionally hurt. Whether that be from their own, whether that be from an internal battle against themselves, or something external like ridicule from peers, right? The fear of being wrong didn't stay confined to math class. It became a pattern that shaped how I approached learning. Very cool that someone can have that and then later on in their life come and reflect on that, right? And now they're working on the Odin project, which I think is very cool. Before I go any further, I do actually want to have a look at this guy. Carlos Diaz. Just wonder how old he is, really. Yeah, I have no idea. Oh, this is a good take. Carlos, I'm gonna have to follow you. Oh wait, no, never mind. I don't use Blue Sky. Is Brexit trending on fucking Blue Sky? Okay, I'll look at that later. I don't know how old Carlos is, but I do wonder like how long it took him to get past that, you know? Maybe he'll stay here. How did I get back to the top? So years later, in learning to code, I'd regularly have a blank text editor along with a blinking cursor while hoping for inspiration to strike. I do wonder, how do you get into programming if you aren't confident in maths? I do wonder how that happened as well. But in wishing the right... I mean, obviously, like, you don't need to have good maths to do programming, but typically it's, like, related, right? But in wishing the right code could pour out of my fingertips, I'd not write much code at all. And in the moments when I'd begin typing something, I'd delete it because I sensed it wasn't correct. Is this code correct? Are too many lines here? Am I using this HTML element correctly? What is the best practice? None of this is remotely useful. Who'd want to hire someone that can't even get something basic built? Why don't I just know how to do this? I must be stupid. Right, but this is like stupid as a state of being, as a characteristic trait, right? As like a predisposition, as opposed to like something you can overcome. Let's got a text message. Hold on. Just silencing my phone. This obsession with perfection clouds our thinking. Learning to code is hard enough. Expecting perfection at things you've just started learning can make it feel impossible, and that's what drives us to seek our best practices. We want to write code that would be useful. We want to use HTML elements in the way that they are supposed to be used. We want to show people we're not stupid. We want to be right. Interesting. So to give some more like anecdotal stuff, recently I've learned NeoVim, I've learned Rust, and I've learned Arch Linux. And yeah, those are like the main things I've looked into recently. The the dark triad. Now with NeoVim, I actually didn't really care so much about like getting the perfect setup. I did really just want to like get straight into using it, and even now, like I know that I don't like use it the most efficiently necessarily. I mean, I don't even have like my fucking LSP set up properly yet for like, you know, for like errors without compiling and stuff like that. So I will sort that out eventually, but that's not so much a problem for me. With Arch Linux as well, like there's still so much I need to set up here. Like I created this taskbar, right, with this stuff here, and I literally haven't touched it since. Like I haven't modified it since. Like I have no lock screen or anything. Like I'll do it eventually, but I just haven't got around to it yet. And like with Rust, but like Rust is a bit different. In Rust, I do care more about writing perfect code, but more because Rust is kind of like meant to be that language, right? Like if I learn, let's say, Python or C++, I'll want my code to be, you know, like really good, and like you should like go out there and like look at people's examples and learn from them and try to get better, right? But even then, like I don't get like paralyzed from like, ooh, how do I make this perfect? Like I still just try and then like kind of improve as I go on. So I feel like I've already built up good habits around approaching things, but it's still good to keep in mind, right? And it's just generally interesting. Let's imagine someone new to math who wishes to get really good. Their first step is learning about numbers. Later, they begin wrestling with adding numbers. Imagine them being frustrated at struggling with adding numbers when they found out about numbers only recently. It's unreasonable and really unfair. Skills in a thing are an outcome of a regular practice over time. I can't read. Skills in a thing are an outcome of regular practice over time. No one is born just understanding everything they've never seen. Or if you want to be accurate, the only people who just know everything are fictional geniuses in movies or people who aren't being honest. Yeah. We should hold ourselves to high standards, but striving for those best practices in ideas you just find out about isn't practical. Okay. And while we may not have, and while we might have the best intentions, the best of the best practices may not do much for us when we're learning the basics. I've had countless conversations with beginners who seek feedback on their first projects. They often arrive with professional grade expectations for code they're writing while still learning the basics. When I ask if they're new to JavaScript and if this is their first project, they confirm both points, yet still expect their work to meet professional standards. Right. If you just found out about functions and logical operators and don't yet to know about how to actually use those, how useful would a design pattern be in that moment? If you just found out about arrays, would a best practice be useful in that moment? Sure, fancy concepts like design patterns and code efficiency are generally useful, of course, but in the moment of learning foundational concepts, those fancy ideas just aren't very useful. You're learning how things work, and that's different from learning how to use those things well. Interesting. I mean, okay. I will say this, right? It's different if you are creating a project. Because, like, for example, one of the first things I've made in Rust is a Rust version of my xfbin library, which was previously in C++. And I did that because I just wanted to, well, because I thought that Rust would be able to handle it better, because because Rust's library system with modules and stuff is better than what C++ is currently. So when I was doing that, I did care about best practices from the get-go because I wanted my code to be usable from the get-go. But I can apply for that point, I could already apply my knowledge from Haskell and C++, right, to this new language. I did some OCaml as well before that. So, yeah, I don't know. But there's definitely a difference between, just learning the language versus, learning the language while trying to actually make something like an actual product. And maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe you shouldn't go straight into, a project like that. But, I mean, it does depend on the person, right? And I feel like I was able to make that step. There are occasions where someone shares an exercise that has far too many lines and wants to learn the best practices to eliminate lines of code or make their code more performant or make their code right. Except their code is perfectly fine. They use what is needed, and every line describes the necessary operation. Imagine this scenario where we reverse a string. Okay, I'm assuming the comments are not part of the code. Okay, so this is JavaScript, right? So we create a character array, and then for each char and string we push this, but we're going, huh? Okay, so I'm guessing that the whole point of this is that it isn't meant to be optimal, right? Because here, we're taking the string and we're putting it into a characters array, which is a bit unnecessary. And then we're creating a reverse array, or whatever, initializing one. And then we're adding our things in reverse to it. And then we're creating a reverse string. And then we're doing this. Okay. Right. I've seen learners who are new to programming, new to JavaScript, new to manipulating data, who will whip that up and think they are failures because they didn't come up with const reverse string equals stir to, okay, I guess a lambda taking stir. Is that lambda? I actually don't know. Stir.split reverse.join. I'm suggesting fewer lines is universally better. Sorry, note, I'm not suggesting fewer lines is universally better. Readability matters more than being concise when writing code. Just trying to illustrate the point. Yeah. Imagine you just, sorry, it's actually really dark in here. Imagine you just found out about strings, variables, logical operators, arrays, and loops. If the starting point were the one-liner, the mental leap towards understanding is a huge one. True. When we're learning basics, there's value in understanding the intermediate steps. Yeah, so when I do something in Rust, what I will do, like as a newbie, what I will do is I will first write it the way I think it should be written, and then I will ask, well, I'll either look for examples online or ask AI, you know, like, is there a better way to do this? But like, I will attempt my way first, right? Like, I don't think it's like, obviously, like, this is fine to start with if you're a beginner, but then like, what you should probably be looking and asking, can I make this better? And then you get to this. But like, the point is, like, at that point you should have already understood this, is what I'm trying to say, right? I feel like that makes sense. I recall an occasion where a learner heard about the idea of dry and halted. That's Wikipedia page, and halted their progress because their code had some repetition. Their code wasn't even functioning correctly, yet they were more concerned with making it adhere to professional standards than making it work at all. They could absolutely take a detour for generalizing logic. But if logical operators and functions feel tricky, is that really the most important place to invest? It's really hard to recognize the value of a best practice when we don't have a lot of practical experience. Recognize the value. I mean, it's true, but like, I wonder what that means then. The irony is that truly understanding why best practices... I'm so congested. The irony is that truly understanding why best practices, like dry matter, requires first-hand experience with the problems they solve. Experience you can only gain by writing imperfect code. This creates a paradox for the learner pursuing best practices so early on. The striving for best practices too early robs us of opportunities to practice, experiment, make mistakes, and make observations. It's uncomfortable, especially if you've had learning experiences like mine. But here's the thing to know. In most cases, making a mistake during learning will not cause your computer to explode. The worst that happens is you get an error message, or your code doesn't run, or maybe you see some undefined values. And all that presents is an opportunity to investigate and learn something about our code. During learning, experiments and mistakes are more valuable than best practices. If you are frozen and not writing code because you need to be right, you won't have the opportunity to just try something and make an observation. Incorrect code can teach us something. Okay. I guess like the idea of like perfectionism. But like that, you can be a perfectionist without it paralyzing you. You just have to, like, you just have to be smart about it. For example, at numbers a and b, a plus b, if we expected to see 8 as the output but see undefined instead, that's a learning opportunity. Is this undefined? In what universe is this undefined? There's no way. It gives us the opportunity to reflect on what we expected and investigate what is actually happening. In this case, discovering that functions need explicit return statements. Oh, return a plus b. God, I knew it looked weird, but like Rust is so in my mind that not having a return statement low-key looks fine. But if we never wrote the code, never experimented, never observed, and just tried to imagine things, developing an understanding of how functions work would be real tricky. By the way, the fact that this is just undefined is so annoying. Like, you get no hints from the compiler whatsoever. Or, well, maybe it gives you warnings, I don't know. Mistakes reveal gaps in our understanding and present opportunities for experimentation, observation, and discovery. And we get none of that if we refuse to try. Additionally, the stress we put on ourselves for not just knowing makes learning harder. I won't go into it here, but feel free to Google learning stress to read about how that can make our learning experience especially hard. Learning stress with a comma. Okay. By the way, I should probably mention I'm pulling an all-nighter right now. I haven't slept since the night before, because I couldn't sleep last night, and now I don't want to mess up my sleep schedule, like horrendously, because I have exams coming up in like 2 days. So if I'm slurring words and all that, and yawning, it's because of that. Yeah. So the big thing is try, right? Try. If at first you don't succeed, try again, and you can't succeed if you don't try, right? So what can we do about it? Here are some reminders for your next coding session. Mistakes or not knowing are an opportunity to experiment, observe, and learn. A mistake or not knowing doesn't mean you are stupid. You are new. It is a signal that you have encountered something to learn. As we strive to improve, we should want to experience these learning moments as much as possible. No one is born knowing how to do this. Everyone needs to put time and effort into learning something. People who claim this has always been easy for them are not telling you everything. Try before you feel ready. There's a difference between being ready and feeling ready. People mistake how they feel with their capacity. You're ready the moment you knew what to experiment with. Everyone starts somewhere. Even professionals will write code that may feel messy just to get something working first. You can't improve code that doesn't exist. Get it working first. Yeah, this is a big one. It's related to like premature optimization as well. Like if it doesn't work in the first place, like what's the point? You know, code should kind of like it's kind of meant to work and do something. So your first priority should almost always just be getting a working thing going first, and then you can improve it later. And obviously if you have experience, then you can like pre-plan it out so that you save more time, but still, like, with that previous knowledge, just go straight towards getting a working prototype or whatever, right? A first draft. But yeah, you can't improve code that doesn't exist. I mean, like, hopefully people would get past the stage of like just not writing anything. But yeah, I mean, I get the idea. Reframe the task. When you get to a project, remind yourself of the goal. The goal isn't to produce professional grade code that follows every best practice, unless you're me. The goal is to develop an understanding of the recently introduced concepts. Projects are experiments where we discover, make observations, and build mental models. I see this a lot, actually, nowadays. They aren't examinations where we prove our worth. Yeah. Build mental models. This idea of building mental models has been coming up quite a bit in videos and stuff I've watched. It's interesting. Schema theory, but like, it's cool that people are acknowledging that. We don't scold toddlers when they walk poorly or tell them about the best practices of efficient locomotion. Their wobbly steps won't win any awards for proper form or athletic excellence. We celebrate their attempts because we understand those imperfect steps are essential to their development. When they face plant from a misstep, we don't tell them to optimize their gait before trying again. Similarly, your first rock, paper, scissors game doesn't need to be a masterclass in best practices. Your string reversal function with 7 steps isn't a failure because it could be done in one line. These messy first attempts are exactly how we build the foundation that later makes best practices meaningful. Without that foundation, best practices are just empty rules without context. Best practices weren't created first and then used to write good code. They came out of years of people writing imperfect code, making mistakes, and discovering better approaches through experience. The best practices will be there when you are ready. Give yourself a chance to learn. Yeah, that's nice. My fear of failure has greatly diminished. That's great. Great advice, senior. Goddamn. Dude, this whole idea of like junior and senior programmers. Can you even be a junior programmer? Like, in like the industry? I feel like I kind of have to go straight to senior. Because like, junior is just AI. An expert is a person who has made all the mistakes that can be made in a very narrow field. I know this quote. It's by Niels Bohr? I guess it is. Oh, so it is. Oh. It's true, right? Like, why do we consult experts when we have problems with a topic? It's because it's because we trust that in their experience they've had the same problems, or have had other people come to them with their problems, so that they also learn those problems, right? So like they know the mistakes that can be made and how to solve them, and that's what makes an expert, you know? Like, you can have a very knowledgeable person in a field, right? Like I'm watching a video game, right? And there's this person who like really knows like just all the processes, you know, like they got it like really down, you know, and like they know what to do. But what separates them from an expert, and I mean, as an admin of the JoJo's Bizarre Modding community, when I like because like we have this expert role, although the requirements are very loosely defined, one thing I really do care about is not just what do you know, but what can you troubleshoot, right? Like if someone comes to you and says, like with this like really niche issue that is really confusing, and you know like the expert would be the person who knows how to solve it because they understand, well, because either they've solved that issue before, or because they just understand the system so well that they can pinpoint exactly what the issue is. So that's what makes an expert in my eyes. But yeah, it's a good quote. I like it a lot. Yeah, Rome was not built in a day. Brick by brick. Reverse engineering Italy's tax code format. Okay. So what? Do cleanups when you feel the grok hit. Micros celebrate that small victory by taking the luxury time of a small cleanup while relaxing in a biological reward for learning, and then it gets sinking. Man, some people have a way with words. Let's just say that. There you go. Thank you. What? I can't read. Thank you, Sire Carlos. I into this. Nice. Well, I want to give this a heart. Awesome. In fact, you know what? I'm going to give it a unicorn. Hell yeah. Wait, I can do both. Okay. I'll do multiple then. Are there any more emoji I can add? No? What the fuck is unicorn meant to do? I'm also going to follow this Odin project thing, because I think it's quite cool. Is no one boosting this? No, I have nothing to add. Okay. So, that was the article there. Oh wait, shit. I have notes. Please tell me they saved. They did. Nice. Right, so what I actually saved? Let's have a look. So there's something I have to worry about. Yeah. So I got two notes from this. This one's a good Zillocasta note. This one's more like an observation about myself, right? I think I'm gonna turn this into a Zillocastan. So let me open Obsidian. Honestly, just copy paste that and then reword it. So okay, a new thing, which would be a new atom by default. Control V. People often stop themselves from trying new things and stepping outside their comfort zone out of fear of being emotionally hurt, whether it be from an internal battle against themselves or something external like ridicule from peers. And for the sources, I'll just link this this article. Topics. mean, motivation. What do you call this? Confidence? Comfort zone? Trying new things? Adventurous? Open-mindedness? Neophilia? Okay, yeah, adventurous and open-minded. Courage. I like courage as a topic here, actually. Anyway, yeah. So people. Many people fear even trying. Yeah. What a banger of a title there. Cool. So Control W. What did that just do? That didn't delete it, did it? What do I call it? Yeah, for some reason these aren't sorted by date, which is what they should be, but I said many people, right? Yeah, okay, so there. So usually what I would do for this thing is create like a source note, but since I only had one note on this, I feel like it's just not really worth it. So I won't, but yeah, you know, I do have my source notes here. And then I like create a whole thing about it, like with this article. With this article by Bjarn, I did actually port my notes to Obsidian just so I can have like a because there are many notes, right? Just point that out. So that's cool. This is his Blue Sky, the author of the article we just read. Lots of folks are telling me learning to code that they need. Okay, I can't read, guys. Such a struggle. Being like this sick 24/7. Lots of folks are telling people learning to code that they need AI skills. Anyone can raise documentation for the AI tool of the week in a few days, but how useful is knowing the tool if our programming skills aren't sharp? I mean, yeah, like what AI skills? Like how to like manage your workflow? Like it's not really hard to learn, is it? AI multiplies the skills we use. Using AI is one part knowing the tool, 2 parts knowledge and experience in the domain. So when learners in the Odin project community ask if they should pause their fundamentals to go chase AI skills, I plead with them to do the opposite. Invest in the skills that will actually let them leverage these tools, the fundamentals. Yep, the AI skills hack I found is investing time into learning to code. Cool. Bro got 0 likes on this. I mean, he has 29 followers, I guess. I don't use Blue Sky, but I suppose I could. I just don't really care about Blue Sky, honestly. Like, I got Twitter, bruh. Like, I know Twitter's toxic and that we should really change apps, but I don't even I literally only check Twitter for news anyway, so. What? Someone lets the AI do the instructions and they do the syntax. That's like that's literally the exact opposite of what they should be doing. This iPhone, I'm guessing. That's his post. Tagalog. So is he? Filipino. Anyway, yeah, so that was that article. There are more, but I want to end this video here, and if I do another one, I'll do it in a different video. But yeah, my machine is a body that turns... What? My body is a machine that turns an 8-minute read into a 45-minute video. But hopefully that was interesting. And I mean, yeah, like I didn't really have to record this. I just did it because I thought it'd be good to show the process, especially now that I have my Telecaster more set up, so I can really like do more with it. I mean, saying that I didn't use my source notes at all. Like, yeah, that was actually very not a great example, but like it was good to show off the extension and stuff with the highlighting. So whatever. Anyway, subscribe for more programming videos, and also suggest any articles you think I should read. I do have this long ass list, side note, of like things that I need to read. So I'll probably get through those sooner rather than later. Because I do want to like start increasing the rate at which I read things. Because I watch a lot of YouTube videos, not so much of this stuff. So, and like I think these are higher quality. I've said this in a previous video. So yeah. Anyway, subscribe for more programming related content, and if you have any suggestions for things I should have a look at, then please tell me in the comments. I know that these videos don't get many views anyway, but if you happen to be watching this part of the video, then and there's something you think that would be cool for me to look at, then let me know, because I'm always looking to learn new things. Yeah. This camera angle is so awkward.